You know, he's probably a combination of some guys. He's got some McSorley in him. You know, he's got some Baker Mayfield, but he's his own quarterback. He's exceptional. There's a reason that he's being considered where he is in the NFL and all that stuff. Really highly productive, smart quarterback. You can see it.
Deserving of all this hype, I guess.
Absolutely.
The rotation up front has been so successful for you guys on the D-line. Do you ever think we're not getting Nick Bosa enough snaps?
Yes, but you know what? Larry does such a good job of moving those guys around, and it's not only number of snaps, it's when guys play and who plays with each other. He's, you know, it's one of the blessings of having a veteran D-line coach who's, you know, the best at what he does, I believe. And he's done not only a great job coaching them, but recruiting, getting some great talent. And I think when they all play, they all practice better because they know they're getting in that game in certain situations. And it's been good to watch. And with some of these recruits we've just gotten letters from, that'll continue.
I know you weren't at Ohio State when Joey was at Ohio State, Bosa, but Nick, the way he's playing, is it fair to say he's playing on that same level as you talk to Urban, as you just, I mean, the way Joey played at Ohio State, is Nick playing on that same level?
Yeah, I think he is. I mean, just talking to those guys, and I watched Joey play. You know, I didn't study him, but I watched him. You know, Nick's got the benefit of being Joey's little brother, too. I mean, Joey, I'm sure, they were raised to be defensive ends, right? And when Joey did it in college. Now Nick gained from his experiences. But you talk about a football family. It's look and see if we can find some more of those guys.
Greg, obviously you want to get home on the pass rush, no matter who you play, no matter who the quarterback is, etc. Just because of how punishing it is when he's free in the pocket, Darnold can make a throw downfield. Is it even? It's always important, but is it even more important? Because you know that there's a real high percentage he's going to complete a ball downfield if you don't get home.
Without a doubt. But the thing that makes it even more tricky is he's very mobile. So it has to be an organized rush plan. It can't just be, go get him, because he has a great feel for the rush, and he's been able to elude the rush, and then he scrambles and he extends the play. He scrambles with his eyes down the field, and he looks to extend the play, and he's made some big plays on the move. So we really have to have an organized plan every time we rush the passer.
Chris said depth chart-wise that he thinks USC is probably the best team offensively that you guys have faced this year. What challenges did they bring to you that you haven't seen yet?
Well, I think their skill as a group is probably the best we've faced. And when I say skill, wide receivers, running backs, and then certainly the quarterback, the guy who dishes the ball to him. So that's going to be a huge challenge. And they're a very athletic offensive line, so they're going to be able to match our athleticism, and that's going to be a challenge.
Greg, when you're a defensive coordinator and people say a game might be a shootout, does that drive you nuts, or do you care if you win a game 42-39?
Well, number one is winning, right? So, and I've been a head coach long enough that you realize, period, number one is winning. But, yeah, we take great pride in what we do defensively, and we don't want to allow points scored. But, at the end of the day, it's a team sport, and we got to find a way to win the game. So our part is to stop them from scoring. That's our job.
You have another test coming up with a guy like Sam Darnold, but what has your takeaway been from the progression or development of the pass defense from game one to now?
I think game one was probably a little bit of an unfair. They had a great plan,
right,
and they played lights out. That quarterback played lights out. That seems like forever ago, right? But I don't think we were as challenged as we looked that night, but we did make progress for sure. We had a secondary that it's well documented. We've lost 6 guys early to the draft in the last 2 years. That's our job, to make sure that we have people to step right in. I think we did have those people, and they progressed as the seasons moved on. So, but now we have a great challenge. So good thing we've progressed, because, like I said, I think we're playing the best skill that we've faced all year as a unit.
Greg, you guys, we talk about the Rushman package all the time, and we know how many great defensive linemen you have. Even when you have individual talented guys like that, the idea of being able to give an offensive line and a quarterback different looks and line them up in different ways. And maybe I know you guys have had Sam and Jalen standing up and 3 other down linemen sometimes. What does that do when you have good players and then maybe they don't know how you're going to line up with those guys?
It's always a delicate balance, right? Because you want to present different looks, but you don't want to slow your own guys down. And when you have great players like I think we do, you got to be careful. You know, you get too cute, is what I say. You know, be careful you don't get too cute with our coaching, and we don't let our guys go do what they do. But every week we've presented. You know, what we try to do is present different looks to the offensive line and to the quarterback, because that's who's involved, and the running back if he's involved in protection. And you try to give different looks, whether it be a 3 down, a 4 down, covering different people, having linebackers up in the gaps, having linebackers off the edge, defensive backs coming, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, we realize that we're blessed to have those defensive linemen that we have, and we got to let them go.
Greg, obviously it's been several weeks since you were possibly looking at a head coaching opportunity. Can you talk about what is the weeks since then have been? Obviously you had to go back to work, help coach your football team. They won a conference championship through it. But how you navigated that, maybe the frustration that situation brought on, I'm sure it wasn't pleasant, and how you're dealing with it now.
You know what, I'm going to speak about that whole thing at some point when it's appropriate. Right now, I don't think it is. I think this is all about this season and the Cotton Bowl and us closing out this season the right way. There'll be a time that it's appropriate for me to speak on that, and then I will.
Is it safe to say there are some legal reasons you don't want to talk about it yet?
You know what? Again, I'm just gonna refrain from speaking about it. Period. I want all the focus to be on this football game.
Coach, something happened? Jumping back to the football game, what has intrigued you the most about facing a quarterback like Sam Darnold, who's touted to be one of maybe the top pick in the draft? Who knows?
Well, it's fun. You know, there's been many plane rides during recruiting that I'll have him on, and I'll be watching him on my iPad, and then late at night when I get back, and it's fun to watch him perform because he's such a good player. But then the reality comes out, we got to stop him, and then it's not a lot of fun. He's really good. I mean, you could see why he's mentioned the way he is in NFL circles. The thing that makes it extraordinarily challenging is the fact that he has really good skill around him. And I mean, you would expect nothing less from USC. That's the kind of people that they traditionally play with. But whether it's the running backs, the wide receivers, or the tight ends, I mean, he's got skill all over the place to deliver the ball. And he's an accurate, poised passer who's very mobile in the pocket. So he presents all the problems that a quarterback can. We just need to go out and my thing that we've been talking about with our defense is we have to do our job. And if we do our job and he whoops us, then he whoops us. You know, that's life in the big city. That's when you're playing against other tradition-rich programs that are their conference champion. But let's not make mistakes where he doesn't even have to do anything great to beat you. That's going to be the key, that we do our job.
Not only focusing on him, they got a pretty good running back in their backfield. What it really has popped off the paper about him for you guys? And is there anything going in their game plan on how to stop him?
Well, yeah, there's a lot in the game plan to try to stop him. I don't know if it's going to work, but he's really good. I mean, he's really good. I was mentioning earlier that he has a gift right before contact, and I've seen only a few running backs in my career that can do this. Right before contact, he has a special way of, whether it's bearing down on the opposite leg or whatever you want to call it, where he runs through physically, runs through the tackle. He lifts that leg just a little bit higher, a little bit stronger, and I think that's unique. You don't see that. Most running backs just continue to run. He actually can sense when that contact's coming, and he meets contact with contact. And then, you know, that coupled with his, you know, he's probably the fastest kid. I don't know. I don't have a clock on all the running backs we've played, but he's incredibly fast. And if you make a mistake, I always look at running backs. How do you know they're fast? When they break free, they don't worry about looking back to see if anybody's catching them. Those fast guys, they know. They run a straight line right to the end zone. And I've seen them do it too many times where I sit there and say, well, we better not allow them. You know, if we misfit a run, we're in trouble. So we got to fit the runs properly. Then we got to tackle a very physical back. And then his backup is a really good running back. I mean, most teams, he's a starter. So, you know, if he gets tired, they bring the backup in, and that's going to be a challenge as well.
Greg, you know, focusing on some of your downtime that you've had here, who are some of the players that, some of the younger players that have really stepped up here in bowl prep and that we might see some more reps of in this bowl game?
Well, I don't necessarily know if we're going to see more reps, but there are some guys, I think, defensively that have really just continued their progression is probably the way to say it. You get an extra 14, 15 practices getting ready for the bowl game. So, in the back end, Isaiah Pryor and Jeff Okudah, I think, have just continued their trajectory. At linebacker, Brandon Browning has been special. I mean, he's really taken a step in this preparation. Chase Young has done really good things all along. But these are true freshmen we're talking about. Pete Warner has done a nice job. So it's encouraging because you see these guys getting better. They are the future. So it's good to see.
When you look at Darnold on video, I'm not trying to get you to forecast whether he's going to leave or not, but does he touch? You were once in the NFL. Does he touch all the buttons of what you would be looking for in a quarterback? Just give me from that perspective.
Well, I can only comment on what I see on tape,
right?
And that is important. But when you're talking about a quarterback, what's in here and what's in here to me are equally as important. And everybody that I know in the football world says that he's got that at a high level as well, which, then you're talking about a guy that has all the things that an NFL quarterback needs to be successful.
Yeah.
And I can only judge off what I've watched on tape. He is successful. And it's over a period of several games.
I keep getting questions that people want to know, is Denzel Ward going to play and whatever. I mean, you expect all of your guys to answer the bell, correct?
Our guys have all practiced. We've been fortunate. We've stayed healthy, and our guys have all practiced and expect them.
Yeah. What's that path been like?
I think he's made tremendous growth. And I think he's still, the neat thing is he's a really talented kid who loves to play and loves to be coached. And he's gone from here to here, and I think he still can go from here to here and be an elite player.
Okay. And we've seen that with the corners here at Ohio State. There's always another guy. Obviously, Denzel very well may go. He had a great year. But with Okudah or Arnett or Sheffield, is the next guy there? Like if Denzel Ward's not here next year, are the guys in the pipeline to keep that cornerback tradition alive here?
They better be. Yeah, they better be. And you know what? You can never, ever take that for granted just because it's been that way. We need to make sure that we are recruiting elite level corners every year because it's as challenging a position, and the way we play it is as challenging as there is in college football.